Okay. Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. And thank you so much for joining me this evening on the late one in review as we look at some of the top news. Before I go any further, a word from our sponsors.
Victoria Mutual invites members, Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica to its town hall meeting, hosted by the group president and CEO of Victoria Mutual, Courtney Campbell. This is one event you can't afford to miss. Come learn about VM's future plans, investment opportunities available in Jamaica, and how you can own a piece of the rock. Also in attendance will be His Excellency SETH George RAMOCAN, High Commissioner of Jamaica, as he bids farewell to the UK. Friday, June 24th at LAMBETH Town Hall, 1 Brixton Hill, SW2 1RW. Registration starts at 6 p.m. Admission is free. Call 0207 738 6799 to confirm your attendance.
VM Group.
Transform your everyday.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this evening it's somewhat of a different sort of format. The normal format, we go straight into what are some of the top news in the UK. There's so many different things. I mean, earthquake around the place. There's some of discontentment, whereby we're seeing lots of demonstrations because of the high rate of inflation. But somehow I believe that there could be a silver lining, and the silver lining, I believe, could be coming straight from Jamaica. Yeah, a silver lining straight from Jamaica, straight from y'all, coming to save us in the diaspora. Let me just bring in Gary first of all. Hey Gary, how are you doing?
Not bad, not bad. It's great again, as all I always say, from one week to the next. It's great on the Sylbourne Garry show.
Awesome, awesome.
Man,
You heard
that's good. That's good to be here.
you heard my opening a while ago. It seems like we may have Jamaica somehow being the answer to some of the crisis that we're having here. People may be wanting to decide to go home. Victoria Mutual. What do you think about that, Gary?
because, because of Victoria Mutual. Well, I mean, nothing better than young, and I think that it would be great. I mean, I think we all really, irrespective of what is happening down there, we should really support our motherland, isn't it? That's our motherland. Not about the UK, but yes, yes, yes.
Support in the motherland. Yes. Well, tonight I have a guest who is hailing from Jamaica, and he's Mr. Rezworth Burchenson. I want to make sure that I get it right. Rezworth Burchenson MBA, BSc Chief Executive Officer of VM Investments and VM Wealth Management. Mr. Burchenson is a Senior Vice President and CEO of VM Investment Limited, VMIL, and its subsidiary, VM Wealth Management, VMWM. I'm going to bring Mr. Burchenson straight into the equation right now. Welcome, Mr. Burchenson. How are you doing?
Hi, Sylbourne. Hi, Gary. Nice to be on. Thank you for inviting me.
I know, right?
Awesome, awesome. You heard the opening earlier, whereby you're coming bringing gifts.
Yeah, I heard it. 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 I mean, that obviously I have to deliver on those gifts, right? So let's talk. Let's talk.
Because of course, I sort of started it with the intro regarding the event tomorrow, June the 24th in Brixton Town Hall. And my first question was, what is the good news you have for the members of the Jamaican diaspora? Because the Jamaica Diaspora Conference was just recently in Jamaica, just a week ago, the 14th to the 16th. I don't know if anything came out of that with VM, but what are some of the good news you have, which is going to be shared like tomorrow?
Okay. Thanks again, Sylbourne.
Yeah.
So obviously we are operating a very challenging space, right? I mean, there is, when you look around, very challenging environment. But I think what we're trying to do in the diaspora is to say that, in as much as there are challenges globally, that we really have to double down on saving and investing, and there is no better partner for the diaspora to do that with, but with VM. Not Victoria Mutual, we have rebranded to VM. Very succinct.
Yeah, we're going to ask you to elaborate on that rebranding as well. Yes.
Okay, yeah, no problem. But let me finish the point. And the point is that obviously we're very trusted in the space, well known in the space, and you mentioned before the sum of discontent and the rate of inflation. That's prevalent. A person really have to look at their financial standing, whether they're saving or buying a whole first home or investment property, to see where the opportunities for them to ensure that their portfolio is certainly keeping pace with inflation. So obviously persons know the VM for saving and mortgages, but there's a lot more to the VM group, which is why we have to do the rebranding. So we have rebranded, we have changed our logo from, you have known, the house, and we have taken away those constraints, a brand new logo, lots of commendation that we have gotten in the space since we have rebranded. The colors is not orange Sylbourne, it's grapefruit red. It's not red, but grapefruit red. And persons are seeing VM in a new light. Because this VM, we now offer investment services.
Yes.
We're offering them before, where persons feel we have to change the mindset, right? We now offer pension services. We offer property management services, valuation, money transfer. We have launched a new fintech company called VM Innovations. And then you mentioned the word earlier about impact. We talk about the challenges back home. We have also launched our VM Foundation to ensure that we are giving back to the community as we should, because we are good corporate citizens. So, the ethos of the organization certainly is still there, but what we're saying is that the group trying to take it to the next level in terms of how we can provide services locally and internationally, and also the diaspora is a key element in that engagement.
If you can sort of elaborate a bit on the drive to the rebranding. If you can elaborate on the drive to the rebranding, because I was also getting confused a bit. I keep saying VMBS all the while, and I keep Leighton keep correcting me and says Sylbourne. It's this, If you elaborate for the benefit of us, yes.
Okay, no problem. So over the years, we have invested a lot in the business. A couple years ago, we bought a pension management company. And we have done quite a bit in terms of digitalization, improving our customer service. And, persons still saw VM as an old, stodgy entity, a dinosaur of sorts. And we're saying, no, right? We have laid the groundwork for the next stage of our growth. So we said, what's the best way to communicate that? Do I go in front of Sylbourne and say, Sylbourne, I am reborn? Or do I say, let's change the branding, let's change the logo, let's shorten the name from Victoria Mutual to VM, which sounds much more cutting edge, and to show Jamaicans locally and the diaspora that it's not only a name change, but all the things that we're doing, have done, and plan to do shows that we are modern mutual. We're still very committed to the concept of mutuality, but we believe that mutual concept can be modernized and can be made, I wouldn't say sexy on your social, but I'd say more engaging to all constituents.
Charmaine McConnell and Ocherus our eyebrows will be going up by saying, what is Rez saying? If I go straight into the bit, because you are the Chief Executive Officer of VM Investment and VM Wealth Management.
Correct.
I noticed there's an emphasis. Senior Vice President and CEO of VM Investments Limited, VMIL, and its subsidiary VM Wealth Management, VMWM. So it is very clear that there is this emphasis. So what are the products that you have to offer to the Jamaican diaspora? Because you're going to be there tomorrow. What are you saying to us then?
Okay, no problem. So let me step back before I answer the question, Sylbourne. Just to
Yeah.
reiterate a point. Persons are obviously no VM for savings and mortgages.
Yes.
We're a lot more than that. We're a lot more than that. And there are persons in the diaspora who certainly will need more investment products. We live in a global village. We heard the term stocks and bonds and mutual
Yeah.
funds and cryptocurrencies. And persons are saying, well, how do I capitalize on those opportunities? For example, in 2018, our own Jamaica Stock Exchange was ranked the #1 stock exchange in the world. How many persons in the diaspora capitalize on that opportunity, that
Yeah.
massive performance in our stock market? So we're saying, you mentioned silver lining. I wouldn't characterize it like that, but there are opportunities, investment opportunities that are available in Jamaica that we're saying to the diaspora, come. For example, come out tomorrow and engage us. Come understand the products and services that are available in Jamaica, the rates of return, how you can access those products, because we know that whether you live on the rock or you live in New York or Brixton or Birmingham, Germany, wherever, that there's still a connection, and there's also persons who want to see how can they invest in Jamaica, how can they make an impact, but also how can they make money. Let's call a
Yeah.
spade a spade. So
Yeah.
we offer those services in the group. I'm responsible for VM wealth management, so we offer those products to ensure that the diaspora members, when they engage us, that we can add value.
And the products, are there distinctive products that you have? I mean, I know you're talking about investment, but what are some of the key products lines?
Okay, no problem. So we offer what's called a unit trust or a mutual fund. Simply
Okay.
invest in a vehicle. That vehicle would invest in whatever, be stocks or bonds or real estate that give you a rate of return, right? That's one. Secondly, if you want to buy stocks on the Jamaican stock market, you come through us. We're a broker with the
Yeah.
Jamaica Stock Exchange. You can buy stocks through us. Thirdly, if you want a fixed deposit, whether it be in Jamaican dollars or US dollars, again, you can come through us to avail yourself of those opportunities. So, so those are the products and services that we offer, that we said to the members, come and engage us. Engage us to understand, the requirements to open these accounts, and how we can add value going forward.
Yeah. Gary, you want to ask a
Well,
question?
yeah, it's great that I could meet with you, Rez, on this platform, and I hope that one of these days I'll be able to meet you in person. And I
Yeah.
mean, the constituency that listens to, or the worldwide audience that listens on this platform here doesn't really know that I'm a ex VM employee. So
If we
and
cut this VM, it'd be the VM blood, right?
run right
Nice,
out, Brad.
nice,
Run
nice.
right out. Run right out.
Grape
But
with
yes,
orange, right? Not red.
Yeah.
Grape with red. Grape with red. Sorry, grape with red.
grapefruit red, yeah.
Grape with red.
Yes, and I mean, VM, well known throughout, I'm sure, throughout Jamaica and the Caribbean, because again, I went to school at Ardennes. Every time I would walk down to Halfway Tree, I opened my first account at VM at Halfway Tree there. So VM is very well known in our family also. But just to just to say, and ask a question. Have you seen any increase at all of investment from the Jamaican diaspora, at least from within the UK here?
Okay. Yes, yes, and yes. More and more, as we persons hear about VM wealth management and our affiliation with the wider group, persons are engaging us from all across the globe. I mean, I was a part of a delegation that went to New York in 2018 in conjunction with Jamaica Stock Exchange. The JC had a forum in Queens. The capacity of the venue was about 300. 700 persons showed up, very engaged, wanted to know, how can they capitalize on the opportunities that exist in Jamaica. And we're certainly getting investments all across the globe from Jamaicans who are saying, you know, they live in a very challenging world. We all live in a very challenging world. And they're
Yes.
saying, they're seeing growth, they're hearing about these things, and they want to engage us.
Okay, that's good. Good to hear. I mean, knowing that at the time we lived in Birmingham, and we worked in the Birmingham office. We were also able to work between the Birmingham and the Manchester office there for a short while, and now we're in Leeds. We're hoping that VM can reach with its long arms, because there is a very large Jamaican community
Sure.
in the UK, and I would even say beyond the borders of Manchester. But with my last question from me to you is, I know that you're having um, uh, a town hall experience in Brixton, as Sylbourne did say, tomorrow, and I'm sad that I won't be able to be there. But what are you
Yeah.
expecting? What are you, or what are we expecting to see and hear from you? Because there, I believe you're going to be talking to the country, as Biden would be standing up and talking to the US.
Yeah, he won't be falling asleep. He won't be falling asleep. So he won't be
Be
you
falling
won't
nice,
asleep.
be nice, gentlemen.
you,
Be nice. Yeah,
You know,
you won't you won't
great
fall off your bike
question.
when you come to the traffic lights out there.
Sure, no problem. So certainly, I'm a part of a delegation. So my group president, Courtney Campbell, is here. Peter Reed, who is the CEO of the Business State Operations, is also here. And then obviously Leighton Smith, who runs the rep offices, will also be present. So if I were living in the UK and I heard that VM was coming to town, what would I want? What do I want to hear? First of all, I'd want to understand, not from a political standpoint, but from an economic standpoint, because the economics does affect the investment landscape. What's happening. That's the first thing. Secondly, if I'm a true VMer, I'd also want to know, what is VM doing to separate itself from the competition, new products, new services, new offerings, digitalization, etc. I'd also want to understand that. Thirdly, I'd also want to understand, what are the products and services that I can avail myself of, not only myself, but my spouse and my family and my friends, to ensure that my financial well-being is moving forward, right? And then, after hearing all of these things, because I don't want person only to come and hear and to not act. I'd also want to ensure that I take some action, right?
yes.
We say after hearing X, I'm going to take some action. How do I save more in VMBS? Am I trying to buy a property in Jamaica? Take some action. A property in the UK? Take some action. I want to invest in the products and services? Take some action. So that is what I think could be some reasons to attend. But also, I want to say to persons, please bring along your family and friends. Please bring along your family and friends, because we want to ensure that we engage the community, not just one person or one person in the household. Because more and more persons ought to understand that even though we're not yet a first world country, that the investment opportunities are there for the taking, and they should come and get information, because I believe that the more persons avail themselves of these opportunities is the more the community kind of comes together, right? So that would be my response to the question.
And also you mentioned about first world country, but Jamaica is moving towards 2030 as a fully developed country. Is that just a pipe dream, or is I mean, when your organizations have these discussions and pivot and look down the road, what do you guys say in regards to Jamaica being a first world country in 2030 with the vision of 2030?
Okay, no problem. So that's a great question. I won't make it time bound, but
Yes.
what I will say to you is that in VM Investments Limited, we are taking more of a proactive role in helping businesses to grow. So, for example, most recently, we helped a company in Jamaica launch on the Jamaica stock market. Secondly, there's a small manufacturer, Home Choice Limited, that we made an investment in, because we want to, again, help the company to grow and to one day invest. When I speak to potential businesses that I am interested in making investments in, I'm very encouraged. I'm seeing business owners in 20s, 30s, and 40s who are courageous, they're brave, being very innovative. They're using tech to do a number of amazing things in Jamaica. So I must say that I'm very encouraged. I think too long the entrepreneurial spirit hasn't shone as brightly as it should, because we all know that we're very creative people, very creative, very entrepreneurial. So I'm very encouraged about the future prospects of Jamaica. And I understand that we have some challenges. Every single economy on the globe will have a challenge. We have a big security issue. And I believe that we all have to come together to solve some of the problems that exist in Jamaica. Too often in Kingston, in Montego Bay, in New York, or in Miami, we sit down and we discuss the problem and we don't get involved. And the crime problem can be solved if we all of us take action. So for example, the crime problem, stems from a number of things. Stems from lack of education. How are persons in the diaspora helping someone, just one dege person, to matriculate, right? How are they coaching someone, right? How are they helping a school? So, and there's a long list of things that we can all help with. But we really have to kind of take action, and we can't leave it on the authorities alone to help.
So what you're actually saying, Rez, is that VM and organization need to show some level of responsibility, a social responsibility at the same time to the community. And of recent days, we have heard about the killing of the 4 children and the mother in Jamaica. Not that we want to go into that, but are you of the view that organizations need to take some sort of responsibility in helping?
Great question. So we launched VM Foundation some years ago because we understand the challenges of Jamaica. And we simply said that, a percent of the profit that we earn in VM ought to be redeployed and is being redeployed to help a number of sectors. But one institution can't do it alone. There are other institutions that have to be involved. But I don't want to only pin that responsibility on institutions, because individuals, Sylbourne and Garry and everybody else, we have to get involved. And in as much as persons sometimes complain about the bureaucracy of sending things home, it's par for the course. Let's look beyond that and let's touch a life in Jamaica. Sylbourne, I think you're muted.
I was muted. Garry, the key word is touch a life in Jamaica. It sounds like a call from the altar at the same time. Touch a life. And I think it is very crucial and important. But listen, whenever persons go to an event like this, the most important thing, Rez, is the follow-up. How do we ensure that there's this follow-up? After you leave, how do we continue to engage yourself? I know Leighton is here and I know the team is here as well, but you are here from Jamaica. How do we?
Okay, sure. So obviously, we'll take all the numbers from persons who are engaged, and make those calls. Have a team in Jamaica who is ready to engage the diaspora members about all our products and services. So I would say just come, let's get some information and let's get the dialogue going. We live in an age where persons don't need to be physically present. There's technology. We can have a Zoom call, a Teams call. We can have webinars to your church members from Kingston, just to engage them. So I think we have to leverage that technology for greater impact and also for better customer service going forward. And then also, Sylbourne, a number of persons who engage will say, as long as it guide me in the right direction, you don't have to hold my hand, I'm fine. I'll do I'll buy my stocks online, I'll buy my unit trust online. So you have 2 different constituents. And we're saying is that we're putting the tool to serve, or the tools to serve those persons who like the digital, but those persons who want the hand holding, we also have team members ready and raring to serve them.
Before we go, I've got people that come on the show and they ask questions. And someone just said this, and I put it to you. Rez, I still don't understand what you're offering. You're You have a platform to sell the organization. So far, you have failed.
Oh,
Scotty's a hard guy to please, but can you please him? Let me see if you can please him.
well, I may not be able to please Scotty, but I'm quite sure I made an impact on somebody else, right?
Yes.
So my message is simple. There are investment opportunities available in Jamaica. VM Wealth Management is here to avail you of those opportunities. Whether you want to buy stocks or bonds or unit trust, we are here to avail you of those opportunities. There are many exciting products being offered in Jamaica. We spoke about the market leading stock market for 2018. There are a number of companies who have gone to the stock market and done well. Our real estate sector is doing very well. We have such a property fund available. So let's engage. And we can better understand your needs, your risk profile, and to move you forward.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Gary, any last question to raise before we release him?
No, I just want to let Rez know that we are behind you. We are behind VM. VM has a very soft place in my heart and in my life. And for us in Leeds, farthest city north of you right now, we want you to know that VM. I want VM to consider coming up here. And
Yeah.
it's not only London. I know London. We've lived in London. I know Birmingham. We've lived in Birmingham. There are large Jamaican communities down there. That is fine. But there are also large communities outside. And I believe that if you look at those areas also, I think you'll get a lot of response and support from your own constituents. And yeah, God bless you, man. We're behind you, and we know that from how you sound and from what you've said, you've got Jamaican and Jamaicans at heart, and you want to see that you have really you've rebranded, you've made new products to some extent, but in as much as you've done that, you've also used what you had in the past. You brought that into the frame, and you have
Mhm.
also said, "Listen, we've even made better the things that we have, which work for us." So yeah,
Right. Thanks, Gary. And your offer to for leads will be accepted, and we'll see you soon.
that's
Awesome.
good, man. We look forward to seeing you. You can always
Cheers.
get the details from Sylbourne.
Sylbourne, I certainly will.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
listen, Rez, I want to thank you so much for joining us at so short notice. And the only reason I'm not making it today because I'm always support is because my son's birthday tomorrow, and family
Ah,
comes first.
sure.
I'm like the mafia. Family comes first. Loyalty is first. You know what I'm
But,
saying?
but Sylbourne, can I though?
Yeah.
But perhaps the best birthday present you can give him is to let him start to invest. Okay? No
Yes.
problem. So
And
look forward to seeing your son tomorrow, Sylbourne, even for 15 minutes.
yes, well, I'll speak to Charmaine. Charmaine will be contacting me in Ocherius branch, my branch, in Ocherius to say, Sylbourne, I'm looking at your account. It's a bit dormant. What's going on? What's going on? What's going
Top
on?
it up, Sylbourne, top it up.
Top it up. We're topping up big time. Listen, take care of yourself, Amres. All the best,
All right.
and thank you so much for joining. And we look forward to establishing a relationship and to see you come back again, sir.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, gentlemen, and
All right.
obviously good evening to your constituents.
Peace.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bless. Bless.
Cheers.
Gary, let me just put this out there.
Victoria Mutual invites members, Jamaicans, and friends of Jamaica to its town hall meeting.
Gary, how are you doing? Can you hear me? You can't hear me. No, because you're muted. You're muted. That's all right. Gary, what's your take on the on the recent interaction with Mr. Burchenson?
No, I think it's quite promising. To tell you the truth, VM has been very quiet over these years.
Yeah.
We've heard and we've seen more of Jamaica National. And I was really wondering in my mind, where is VM? Where is Victoria Mutual?
Yes.
Because I know Victoria Mutual at one point was very strong, was extremely strong in the UK. So it's good to know that the management, the top level management of VM has now, and it looks like they've done what they wanted to do, and they've rebranded, they've brought on new products, and they want to again come out and make another, make themselves see. So let's hope that Victoria Mutual does make a bigger and a better impact in the UK.
But the most important thing is that somehow Jamaica can be a key factor for investments for Jamaicans overseas, because based on how the world is going, I think people are now looking to say, hang on a second, if the UK get mashed up or whatever, like that, where do I go? You know, and people need to know that they can go to Jamaica. So I believe that the work with Victoria Mutual is key. Gary, I don't know if you have followed on the work regarding the Windrush.
Yeah. I haven't, to tell you the truth, I haven't, and I should. So forgive me, everyone. But I haven't really paid a lot of attention to the Windrush festivities. One reason for me, and I was sharing it with you, Sylbourne, just before we came on air.
Yeah.
That I really believe that, you see, if over the years the Windrush, those who have come from the Windrush airs and such, if no noise or nothing was said about these things, then we wouldn't have a Windrush Day or we wouldn't have a Windrush festivity. And I think that a lot is done to bring it out to the fore now because of the noise that we've made. And I think that should not have had to happen. Because back in the day, and this is before we were born, really. Back in the day, it was the government of the day that called out to the colonies in the Caribbean, and let us say Jamaica, because of we are from Jamaicans, we are the seed of Jamaicans. But I would say that they called out to the colonies of Jamaica, of Jamaicans and such, to come over to the mother country to build up the country. Now that had been done, and even while that was being done, as we all know, and it was even mentioned last week in your program,
yes,
that it was while the ship was coming over from the Caribbean to Southampton that the Prime Minister of the day was trying to divert it to Africa to go and pick peanuts. Now, you see, I mean, that should never have happened. But what we have in of making something, trying to do something about it from other sources. I mean, okay, Sylbourne, let me just point out one thing. It was also highlighted. I think it was on Facebook. I think I noticed it. I'm not sure, but they've said that it's only a very small percentage of people that have received any compensation from the Windrush compensation scheme.
Thus far.
What's that?
So far.
So far. Now look how long the compensation scheme has been running, right? Look how many. I'm sure it's not only one or two that have applied for it. I'm not saying again that it's the majority of families have, but again, they make it so difficult for the relatives of those who suffered during those years to
So,
get
so
anything at all.
Gary, so what are you trying to imply then? And what I'm picking up from you is that a statue is more like an appeasing to keep people quiet and say, okay, here we are. You got a statue. Keep quiet now. You're okay. I mean,
Well,
let me play
in
the video.
my
Let me play
in
the
my
video.
Generation.
Let me play this video.
Gabriella H., Christopher, Amira, Zachary, Gabrielle B., and Nathaniel. Come forward. And we'll ask their Royal Highnesses to assist the children. I know how much you love children. Please join them, and we'll have the final unveiling. What a moment. Are we all ready? Turn around, children, turn around. Grab a corner of the curtain. Are we ready? Gabrielle, you do the count. Woo! Absolutely magnificent. Wonderful, wonderful.
Gary, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't want to sound too negative, man. I don't know if anybody wants to hear how I'm sounding really. But you see, Sylbourne. I mean, the majority took. Well, obviously, the camera wasn't placed right. I can't see the whole of who wasn't there. Them things they shouldn't be things, you know. I think somebody probably hacked it and put it up. But the thing about it is that still, to me, from what I could see there, the majority of them were white people. Where's the black people? Are you there? Yeah,
I'm here. There were black people there. I think the principle about it is the statue is there to somewhat use as a symbol. We're having statues every day, every year, to show and to appreciate the Caribbean people in this country.
well,
I'm being politically correct in my words at the same time.
I mean, Scotty, Scotty to me is saying exactly, I think, what needs to be said. I think we've got people in influential positions here that I think what he is saying there, I mean, it is an insult. I think it is an insult. It is an insult to me. Now I'm talking for myself. I'm not talking for my for my church or anything like that. But I mean, a lot of things are happening. Stillborn. A lot of things are taking place.
Yes.
And it's only being done at times because of pressure. Pressure. And we shouldn't have to put pressure on in certain areas for things to be done. That statue there, I'm not saying a statue like that shouldn't have gone up, but that should have gone up years back. Years back. Why is it only going up now? Why is it, Sylbourne? Why is the statue only going there today? When I say today, I mean in this season. Why? Why? When our parents, when our people connected or not connected with us left the motherland, left the colonies. When I say the motherlands, where they were born to come over on the behest of the present government at the time, calling on people to come over to rebuild England, and all types of stuff was offered to them. And when they come, they couldn't go into certain churches. They were not welcomed to rent in certain areas, they were saying no Irish, no blacks, and no dogs. They couldn't hold certain positions until years later. Things begin to then come out because of the pressure of their of their children and grandchildren growing up, seeing the insults and the way how their parents and grandparents were treated. Then it's only then that they put a statue up there after they've worked so hard, and
Um,
they're still deported. They're still deporting people where when they
yes.
came over on their parents' passport, right? They've worked here. You know of some Sylbourne. They've worked here. They've had family. They've had house. They've got NI pension coming, and because they go away and come back, well, they can't come back. Why? Because they haven't got a passport or whatever papers.
Well,
It's
Scotty is saying it's just white people off in our faces. What about the devastating circumstances with deported people? Um, you know, you know, whose decision was it, and who made the statue?
no, I mean what I mean, I saw it on the news. I think I saw it when on ITN or BBC, but nothing was said about it outside of London. I didn't hear anything about it until I saw it on the news. You see,
So
black
what?
people don't know nothing about these things.
Yes. So therefore, what we're actually saying is that we are more than just a statue. We need to get justice and for the people, for the Windrush, and
You see,
those who are still suffering.
Sylbourne, what will be said, it's gonna what certain people, what certain people are gonna say. They're gonna say, "Oh, well, we did put up a statue for them, haven't we? We have recognized it," and then they'll put it down to that to keep us quiet. Oh, we did put them up. We did agree to put up a statue in King's Cross. You know
Well,
that should appease them.
Linton Kwesi made a fundamental point as to why he turned down the Professor Gus John set out his clear reasons why he turned down the offer to go there on the day for the June bit. But anyway, Gary, my philosophy is that we can either wait for things to happen or work with Victoria Mutual Finance and create opportunities for ourselves. You know what I mean? Because as far as I'm concerned, people take us for a ride. The summer of discontent, which is happening now. I mean, we saw recently the train strike, which is happening, lawyers striking. Gary, all of these, and once again, BA Heathrow staff back summer strikes over pay.
It's going to get worse, Sylbourne. It's going. You and I. I mean, I can't really remember, but every time that we have a discussion on this type of subject over this period of time, we have said it's going to get worse. It's not going to get any better because the cost of living has gone up. Have wages gone up? No, wages is still the same.
Actually, no, it's gone down in real terms.
Yes,
it's gone down in real terms.
So what this country, what we are seeing right now is something that we should have expected to happen, and it's going to get worse. Not only will I believe crime is going to go up, because how are people? If some people couldn't live then, and they had to steal to live, then what are they going to do now? And the country or the government then expects everything to be the same. Oh, no, I can't. I'm not. We must steal and rob and all of that. I'm not saying that. I want our leaders. They need to be able to look with their eyes open. They've got to. Because the leaders in Parliament right now, some of them are very wealthy individuals. So they're not feeling what you're feeling, Sylbourne. They're not feeling what I'm feeling. They can well go to the petrol station and fill up their car with it's nearing about probably 120, 130 pounds probably to fill a car.
Yes.
Some less, some more. But what? And to I remember. I suppose you can back in the 90s when we would go to either Safeways or Tesco, so push a basket, and fill the basket, and that would cost probably 30, 40 pounds, and that was a lot of money. That was
Mm.
plenty money. Now I went and bought four little things, and it's £10. Four things.
Yes, 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 yes.
No, things are going to get worse.
Yes, and you're right about that. You're going to have the social impact because what in my area we call the next door. There's a website which is called Next Door, and every minute they're talking about people, cars being broken into, people stealing, even things that Amazon would leave on their steps. People
Yes.
stealing Amazon stuff. People stealing milk. When the milk is left there. There's a level of desperation which is happening, and I strongly believe though that it is very clear that as they play politics, that the political parties need to come together and come to a resolution. And I strongly believe that that is what is the answer, right? Because in real terms, I don't believe things are that high. They need to come together and to sort out this thing. But Gary, I guess we'll have to start thinking about Victoria Mutual and go Jamaica. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I would go. I would go back to Jamaica. My wife. I don't know if my wife would go back right now. I don't
She's,
think so.
she's somewhat curious, you know what I mean?
She's out here, but I don't know if she would go. I don't know if she would go back. I mean, the kids are here. One by one, slowly they're getting married. They're having their children. The children here not going back, not going to Jamaica. That's the funny thing about it. You
Yes,
know,
yes, yes, yes.
children that are born here, they've been to Jamaica. They know Jamaica, so that's not a problem. But I don't know if they would go back to live.
Mm.
They would go back to live. So,
And, and and that is what the diaspora was talking about, even engaging with the third and fourth generation as well, which is also crucial. Gary, well, listen, it was a good show. There's so much more we could talk about, but I think the key aspect was with Mr. Rezworth Burchenson,
yes,
and
yes.
let's get that going. I think he just sent me something a while ago. Yeah, let me. And one of the things that I've heard is whether Miss Camilla Johnson has won the Secretary General.
Has she?
No, I guess we'll hear about that at some point. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, have a great night, have a great evening, and take care of yourself. Make sure you tune in and go down to Victoria Mutual Finance and learn how to invest in Jamaica and learn some of the key bits as well, which is crucial tomorrow. And the information which is there, call it all VMBS members, Jamaicans and Friends of Jamaica to join us on location at Lambeth Town Hall Friday, tomorrow, June the 24th at 6 p.m. I should have asked if they are doing it online. It is an online portal as well. Telephone number is there. And Donna Brown, you mentioned that you know Donna Brown, Gary. Donna Brown has been around for a long time.
Yeah, for a long time, and that was at there was a Tottenham office. I'm not sure if the Tottenham is open. And there is for the Birmingham branch, Phyllis Peters, very great colleague. She knows the VM products like the back of her hand. She's been there, I believe, from when it started in Birmingham, from when the office there was open. So they're very well placed employees, managers there that they know what they're talking about. And I have confidence in, well, both of these ladies, I have confidence in them that if anybody goes to them to talk about the products and to talk about what needs to be done if they were to return to Jamaica or buy properties or so, they're very well experienced. I could tell you some stories, man, back in the day, how people bought property in Jamaica, went to build, come back to England, and when they go back, It's grass. You know, thousands of pounds being sent back to Jamaica. But when they go back to find if the house is being built, nothing. So it's all of that kind of experience that Jamaica, that Victoria Mutual managers, and especially those two individuals, Donna Brown as well as Phyllis Peters, London and Birmingham. You want experience, you want a bit of wisdom in knowing what to purchase and how to go about things. Talk to those two individuals, and you'll see very much so
Yeah.
how to go about it.
Yeah. Well, it is very clear that there's a lot of things going on down in Jamaica, and especially regarding the stock market as well, which is proven to be very successful, and that needs to be touched on and somehow stimulated for Jamaicans to touch into that as well. Of course, Scotty always say vote UIC for a change, and what he said, Gary, you won't go down to Jamaica unless them change the parties. That's what he said. Gary, you can go back to Jamaica when they change the JLP and the PNP removed from the country. That's it. Yeah.
That is wishful thinking, you know, because PNP is so entrenched in that country there. I don't think you'll ever be able to get rid of one or the other. I just think we're just gonna have to try and get them to work together. Even if UIC comes in, UIC, JLP, because listen to this as a last resort here. If, and this is going back, I know these two individuals are dead, but I'm telling you, listen to this. If Michael Manley, who is the greatest orator, I think, within the the Caribbean, very charismatic, he was the head of the PNP. If he and if Edward Siaga was the finance guy, and they both could work together, then I don't think there's any country within the Caribbean basin or in the world that could ever touch Jamaica. But because Eddie was so arrogant, and Micah, he was so sure of himself that they just couldn't work. They just couldn't work together. So so UIC coming on board now to try and do something. If they could work together, then you know.
Well, my favorite Jamaica replica of Michael Manley is saying, "We have to," and I can quote him as a, "They lie on a Monday, they lie on a Tuesday, they lie on a Wednesday, they lie on a Thursday, they lie on a Friday, they lie on a Saturday. God help them, they lie on a Sunday." And my father used to have his statement and said, "For the first time, at last, we have to feed the people fundamentally," and fundamentally was a word. You know, that's my replica. We have to.
I mean, I like to listen to Michael Manley, and especially when I'm growing up and hearing him talk. He had a kind of charisma about him that people would follow, people would listen, and such. Eddie Siaga now, I mean, he was world renowned for finance. And
money shall jingle in your pocket. and then the cartoon character said, "Me don't want no money jingle in my pocket. That paper money me want." That was a cartoon character there.
I mean, he used to work for the World Bank. I think he was, but he was known also for his ingenuity and his brilliance in the financial sector. So I just think that if people who have the expertise in whatever area could work together with others to complement what needs to be accomplished, then we would do great things. But because we want to be seen as the big it and the big him, and nobody else is like us, and we don't want to stand on the same platform as anybody else or whatever, fall apart. But anyway, that's humanity. That is humanity.
Gary, well, listen, have a good night, yes. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining tonight. And thanks to Mr. Rezworth Burchenson from Victoria Mutual. And make sure, guys, you tune in tomorrow for the event in Brixton. Gary, listen, have a good night. And Saturday night, I don't know what's going to happen with Talk and Sip, but I think, I don't know if you heard about the four children got killed.
Yeah, it's a sad, very sad thing. I don't know. That really touched me. Really, that really touched me.
Yeah.
That really touched me. And I don't know. There's just reports. I don't know if it's true, but they did say it was a cousin that did it. I'm not sure.
It's alleged. Yeah, it's alleged. Yeah.
Alleged. It's alleged. It's just a
All right,
sad
Gary.
state. Just a sad state.
All right, Gary. Listen, you take care of yourself. Yeah. Peace
All
out.
right. God bless.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining tonight, and thank you so much, Mr. Rezworth Burchenson, for joining on the show and telling us and giving us some feedback as to the event at Victoria Mutual tomorrow. And we hope and trust that people will turn out. And the most important thing is that we follow this up and we all get involved and invest a yard. Okay? Boom.
Victoria Mutual invites members, Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica to its town hall meeting, hosted by the group president and CEO of Victoria Mutual, Courtney Campbell. This is one event you can't afford to miss. Come learn about VM's future plans, investment opportunities available in Jamaica, and how you can own a piece of the rock. Also in attendance will be His Excellency SETH George RAMOCAN, High Commissioner of Jamaica, as he bids farewell to the UK. Friday, June 24th at LAMBETH Town Hall, 1 Brixton Hill, SW2 1RW. Registration starts at 6 p.m. Admission is free. Call 0207 738 6799 to confirm your attendance.
VM Group.
Transform your